searching for peace in a busy world. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. We're constantly juggling responsibilities, work, family, social commitments, and trying to keep up with the demands of daily life. The pressures seem never-ending, and it often feels like there's no time to pause, reflect, or breathe. Stress and anxiety have become so ingrained in our lives that we barely notice them anymore. We know we need peace, but where do we even begin to find it? Have you ever felt like you're running in circles, struggling to stay afloat, yet still feeling exhausted and lost? Like no matter how hard you try, the pressure doesn't seem to ease? It's a feeling many of us can relate to. Life in the modern world often feels like a never-ending race, where the finish line always seems just out of reach. But what if the peace we're seeking doesn't have to come from external circumstances or future accomplishments? What if it's already within us, waiting to be discovered? Buddhism offers powerful, practical wisdom that can help us connect with that inner peace. No matter what life throws our way, Buddhism isn't just a religion. It's a way of living, a guide to navigating the ups and downs of life with grace, patience, and clarity. Its teachings offer simple yet profound tools to reduce stress, calm the mind, and cultivate happiness, even in the midst of chaos. In this video, we'll explore 10 transformative Buddhist practices that can help you find peace, joy, and resilience in your everyday life. These aren't just abstract ideas. They are practical steps that can be incorporated into your routine, no matter how busy or overwhelming your life may be. If you're looking for ways to reduce anxiety, find balance, and live a more meaningful life, this video is for you. So, take a deep breath and join us on this journey. Together, we'll uncover how these ancient teachings can help us navigate life with greater calm and clarity. Let's begin the path to a more peaceful, fulfilling life, starting right now. 1. Practice forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools for releasing negative emotions and finding inner peace. In a world where we often feel wronged or hurt by others, holding on to resentment, anger, or grudges can only keep us trapped in a cycle of suffering. But when we choose to forgive not just others, but also ourselves, we free ourselves from this burden. In Buddhism, forgiveness is not about excusing bad behavior or forgetting what happened. It's about letting go of the emotional attachment to past hurts. The Buddha taught that holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. When we hold on to anger, we are only causing ourselves more pain. Forgiveness allows us to release that pain and reclaim our peace of mind. It's important to understand that forgiveness is not about condoning someone's actions. It's about choosing to free ourselves from the emotional weight of resentment. Holding on to anger and grudges only continues to harm us, not the person who wronged us. In practice, forgiveness can be transformative. It doesn't happen overnight, but by consciously choosing to let go of negative emotions and embracing compassion, we start to heal. Forgiveness meditation, a central practice in Buddhism, can be particularly helpful. In this practice, we send feelings of love and compassion to ourselves and others, including those who may have hurt us. This can soften the heart and gradually dissolve feelings of anger and resentment. Forgiving yourself is just as important as forgiving others. Often, we are our own harshest critics, and we carry guilt, shame, or regret from past mistakes. Buddhism teaches us that everyone is imperfect, and the key to peace is self-compassion. By letting go of self-blame, we allow ourselves to heal and grow. As the Buddha once said, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Forgiveness is the antidote to this poison, allowing us to free ourselves and live in peace. 2. Cultivate patience. Patience is a cornerstone of Buddhist practice and a powerful antidote to stress, frustration, and anxiety. In a world that often demands instant results, cultivating patience allows us to respond to challenges with calm and clarity. When we are patient, we can face difficulties without being swept away by negative emotions, and instead, we can approach life's obstacles with wisdom and understanding. Buddhism teaches that impatience only creates more suffering. When we react impulsively, whether it's out of anger, frustration, or fear, we tend to make decisions that are driven by emotions rather than logic. This often leads to regret, mistakes, or even deepening the problem. Patience, on the other hand, creates the space for us to respond thoughtfully and effectively. One of the key aspects of patience in Buddhism is mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in the moment without judgment. When we are mindful, we can observe our emotions as they arise, without allowing them to control us. By observing our impatience with clarity, we give ourselves the opportunity to respond from a place of wisdom instead of reacting impulsively. Patience also involves accepting things as they are, without clinging to desires or expectations. When we let go of our attachment to how things should be, we can find peace in the present moment, even when situations are challenging. This doesn't mean passivity or inaction. Rather, it's about accepting the natural course of things and acting when the time is right, rather than forcing outcomes prematurely. In daily life, we can cultivate patience through practices such as meditation or breathing exercises. These techniques help calm the mind and allow us to respond to stress with greater resilience. Through patience, we can develop a sense of peace that is not dependent on external circumstances, but comes from within. As the Buddha wisely said, "With patience, you will understand and find the right path." The greatest of all virtues is patience. 3. Practice compassion. Compassion is one of the most profound and transformative practices in Buddhism. It is the act of opening your heart to others, recognizing their suffering, and taking steps to alleviate it. Through compassion, we connect with others not just on an intellectual level, but on a deep emotional level, where empathy and understanding flow freely. It's the recognition that all beings, just like us, experience pain, joy, and longing, and by extending kindness, we contribute to reducing suffering in the world. In Buddhist teachings, compassion is more than just a feeling. It is an active choice, a commitment to be present for others and offer kindness in times of need. It is a practice of seeing others not as separate from us, but as beings who are intrinsically connected to our own existence. By understanding that everyone is facing their own struggles, we naturally develop a sense of empathy and a desire to help, rather than judge or distance ourselves. Practicing compassion not only benefits others, but it also brings immense joy and peace to ourselves. The Buddha said, "Compassion is the shortest path to peace." When we cultivate a compassionate heart, we move beyond the walls of ego and self-interest, and we experience a deep sense of connection and fulfillment. It is through compassion that we can break down the barriers between us and others, creating a world where love and understanding prevail. One of the most powerful practices for cultivating compassion in Buddhism is loving kindness meditation, metta. In this meditation, we begin by sending thoughts of love and goodwill to ourselves, then gradually extend those feelings to loved ones, acquaintances, strangers, and even those who may have caused us harm. This practice helps soften our hearts and shift our focus from self-centered concerns to a more universal, caring perspective. When you practice compassion, you tap into a wellspring of happiness that exists within you. You begin to realize that the more you give to others, the more you receive in return, not in material terms, but in the form of peace, contentment, and a deeper sense of purpose. As the Buddha beautifully expressed, "May all beings be happy. May all beings be free from suffering." Through compassion, we can create a more harmonious world and nurture the peace that resides in our hearts. 4. Let go of the self. In Buddhist philosophy, the self, often referred to as the ego, is seen as the root of all suffering. Our attachment to the idea of a permanent, unchanging self keeps us bound by desires, fears, and attachments. It leads to feelings of inadequacy, pride, and competition, constantly driving us to seek validation, approval, and possessions. But when we let go of this false sense of self, we free ourselves from the cycle of desire and suffering. experiencing true peace and inner freedom. The Buddha taught that our concept of a fixed self is an illusion. We identify with our thoughts, our emotions, and our body, believing they define who we are. However, this self is not constant. It is ever-changing. When we attach ourselves to this fleeting sense of identity, we set ourselves up for disappointment and suffering. Life is dynamic, and the self we cling to is only a momentary expression of who we are. Letting go of the self is not about losing your individuality or becoming passive. It's about releasing the rigid attachment to the me and mine. It's about recognizing that we are part of a greater whole, interconnected with all beings. When we let go of the desire to control, compare, or defend our sense of self, we find freedom from the pressure of constantly living up to expectations, both our own and others. In practice, letting go of the self involves mindfulness and meditation. By observing our thoughts and emotions without identifying with them, we begin to see how transient they are. In meditation, we can create space between our inner world and external circumstances, giving us the opportunity to experience life as it truly is, without the need for validation or attachment. The Buddha said, "Let go of the self, and you will receive inner freedom." When we free ourselves from the ego's grip, we experience a deep sense of peace, clarity, and liberation without the burden of self-centeredness. We can live authentically, embracing life's impermanence with grace and wisdom. We are no longer defined by what we have, what we do, or what others think of us. We simply are, and in that being, we find true freedom. 5. Live with gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to transform your outlook on life. In Buddhism, cultivating a sense of thankfulness is a practice that helps us reconnect with the present moment and appreciate the simple, everyday blessings that we often overlook. When we focus on what we have, rather than what we lack, we open our hearts to joy and contentment. In a world that constantly encourages us to strive for more, it's easy to forget the abundance we already possess. We may take for granted the small things that bring us peace, like a kind word from a friend, a warm meal, or the beauty of nature. By consciously practicing gratitude, we begin to shift our attention away from what is missing in our lives and instead focus on the richness of the present. Buddhism teaches that gratitude is not just a passive feeling. It is an active practice that can be developed through mindfulness and intention. Taking a moment each day to reflect on the things we are grateful for, whether big or small, can help us cultivate a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. This shift in perspective brings a sense of calm and fulfillment, as we begin to see life as a gift, rather than something to be taken for granted. A simple practice of gratitude is to keep a gratitude journal. Each day, take a few moments to write down 3 things you are thankful for. This could be something as simple as the sunlight shining through your window or the kindness of a stranger. Over time, you will begin to notice how much beauty and goodness exist in your life, even during challenging times. The Buddha said, "Gratitude is the key that unlocks the door to happiness." When we live with gratitude, we not only enhance our own happiness, but we also cultivate a sense of connection and appreciation for others. Gratitude nurtures our hearts, transforms our perception of the world, and helps us experience life's true beauty. 6. Seek peace in the present moment. One of the most essential teachings of Buddhism is the importance of living fully in the present moment. So often, we find ourselves caught up in worries about the future or regrets about the past. These distractions pull us away from the only time that truly exists, the present. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain. The only reality we have is right here, right now, in the hustle and bustle of modern life. It's easy to become overwhelmed by what's to come or weighed down by what has already happened. But the more we focus on these mental distractions, the further we drift from peace. The Buddha taught that true peace can only be found in the present moment, free from the chains of past regrets and future anxieties. When we live in the present, we stop chasing after what might happen and embrace what is happening. This shift in perspective brings a profound sense of calm and contentment. In the present moment, we can appreciate life for what it is, rather than what we wish it to be. We realize that peace doesn't lie in achieving future goals or fixing past mistakes. It exists in the simple act of being fully aware of what is unfolding around us. Mindfulness is a powerful practice in Buddhism that helps us stay present. Through mindfulness, we learn to observe our thoughts, feelings, and surroundings without judgment, allowing us to experience each moment with clarity and peace. By focusing on the present, we can let go of worry and find joy in the simple things: breathing, walking, eating, or even just being. As the Buddha once said, peace is only found in the present moment. When we embrace the now, we stop chasing after elusive happiness and begin to experience the deep peace that already resides within us. 7. Embrace change. Change is an inevitable part of life. Everything around us is in a constant state of flux: relationships, circumstances, even our thoughts and feelings. In Buddhism, we learn that resistance to change is a major cause of suffering. When we hold tightly to the way things are, we create tension and dissatisfaction. However, when we accept the reality of change, we can live more freely and harmoniously, without being attached to fixed outcomes. The Buddha taught that everything is impermanent, anicca, nothing stays the same forever, and this includes both the joys and the sorrows we experience. Our natural inclination may be to hold on to what feels comfortable or familiar, but in doing so, we often trap ourselves in a cycle of desire and suffering. The more we resist change, the more we experience frustration and discontent. By embracing change, we cultivate flexibility and openness. We stop trying to control or predict the future, and instead, we learn to adapt to whatever comes our way. This acceptance allows us to flow with life's inevitable ups and downs, rather than fighting against them. When we surrender to the present moment, we release the burden of resistance and make space for new opportunities, growth, and transformation. In practice, embracing change can be seen in how we approach challenges. When we face difficult situations, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can ask, "What can I learn from this?" This shift in mindset transforms adversity into a chance for personal development. Through mindfulness and awareness, we become more resilient and accepting of the transient nature of life. As the Buddha wisely said, "Only change is eternal." By embracing the ever-changing nature of life, we open ourselves to new possibilities and find peace in the knowledge that change is not something to fear, but something to welcome. 8. Practice meditation. Meditation is one of the most effective tools in Buddhism for cultivating inner peace and mental clarity. It allows you to gain mastery over your mind, helping you focus, calm your thoughts, and find stillness within. In a world filled with distractions and constant busyness, meditation offers a sanctuary where you can reconnect with your true self and experience deep inner tranquility. The Buddha emphasized the importance of meditation as a path to liberation. Through regular practice, we train the mind to remain steady and present, rather than being swept away by the constant stream of thoughts, worries, and desires. Meditation helps us become more aware of our mental and emotional states, allowing us to observe them without getting attached or overwhelmed. One of the key benefits of meditation is its ability to reduce stress and anxiety. When we sit in stillness and focus on our breath or a particular mantra, we can disconnect from the external world and create a space of peace within. This practice helps us to let go of the tension in our bodies and minds, leading to a greater sense of calm and relaxation. Through meditation, we also enhance our mindfulness, our ability to be fully present in the moment. As we meditate, we begin to notice the fleeting nature of our thoughts and emotions, recognizing that they come and go like waves in the ocean. This awareness helps us detach from negative mental patterns and cultivate a deeper sense of presence and peace. Meditation doesn't require a special place or long hours of practice to be effective. Even just a few minutes each day can make a significant difference in your mental clarity and emotional well-being. Over time, Meditation strengthens your ability to handle life's challenges with a calm mind and an open heart. As the Buddha wisely said, meditation is the way for your mind to return to peace. Through consistent practice, meditation can bring your mind back to a place of serenity, helping you navigate life's ups and downs with greater ease and wisdom. 9. Appreciate the beauty in every moment. Life is full of wonders, but often we are too distracted by our worries, goals, or distractions to notice them. The beauty of the world is not always found in grand achievements or extravagant moments. Sometimes, it is hidden in the smallest, most ordinary experiences: the rustle of leaves in the wind, the smile of a stranger, the warmth of the sun on your face. Buddhism teaches us to be fully present in each moment, to appreciate the beauty and grace that surround us in everyday life. When we are mindful, we begin to notice the subtle wonders that are often overlooked in our rush through the day. Whether it's a quiet morning, a shared conversation with a loved one, or even a moment of solitude, there is beauty to be found in every experience. The Buddha encouraged us to cultivate a deep sense of awareness, recognizing that beauty is not separate from us, but exists within the present moment. When we truly see life as it is, we can appreciate its simplicity and richness. We no longer need to chase after fleeting pleasures or distant dreams. We can find contentment and joy in the here and now. The practice of mindfulness helps us develop this appreciation for life's beauty by focusing on our breath, our senses, and the world around us. We become more attuned to the present moment. We begin to notice the details, the colors, textures, sounds, and feelings that we might otherwise miss. Through this awareness, we come to understand that beauty is always present, even in the most humble of moments. As the Buddha wisely said, beauty is always found in simple things. When we open our eyes to the present and appreciate the little things in life, we cultivate a sense of peace and gratitude, knowing that every moment is an opportunity to experience the profound beauty of the world. 10. Live with unconditional love. Unconditional love is one of the most transformative and powerful forces in life. It is the kind of love that does not depend on circumstances, expectations, or the behavior of others. In Buddhism, loving kindness, metta, is not just an emotion. It is a conscious, active practice that transcends judgment, attachment, and ego. When you love without conditions, you free yourself from the limitations that often come with trying to control or possess the love you give. Buddhism teaches that true love is not based on what we can get, but on what we can offer. It's a love that extends to all beings, regardless of their actions, backgrounds, or status. This kind of love flows freely, without seeking reciprocation, and it has the power to heal and transform both the giver and the receiver. Loving unconditionally means embracing others as they are, without the need to change or judge them. When you live with unconditional love, you create an open heart, full of compassion and acceptance. You begin to see others not as separate from you, but as fellow beings deserving of love and kindness. This love does not seek to possess, but to nurture and support. It is a love that doesn't require anything in return, making it one of the purest and most selfless expressions of humanity. By practicing unconditional love, you also cultivate peace within yourself. When you love without attachment or expectation, you release the burden of seeking approval or validation. You become free to live with an open heart, embracing each moment with grace and joy. This love enriches your relationships as you begin to approach others with understanding, patience, and care. As the Buddha said, love is the root of all happiness. When you allow yourself to love without conditions, you experience a profound sense of connection with all beings, and the world around you becomes a more compassionate, harmonious place. Through this practice, you not only bring peace to others, but you also invite happiness and fulfillment into your own life. The key to a peaceful life. All of the teachings shared above are stepping stones towards finding peace within. Regardless of the challenges life throws your way, remember, Life is a long and often unpredictable journey, filled with ups and downs. But with patience, compassion, and the wisdom of Buddhism, you have the tools to overcome any difficulty and live a life full of happiness and inner freedom. By embracing these teachings, you can begin to shift your perspective, letting go of attachments and judgments, and cultivating a heart of love and kindness. As you practice forgiveness, mindfulness, and gratitude, you will create a life where peace and joy flow naturally. With each day, you will find that the struggles of life no longer have the same hold over you. Instead, you will face them with a calm heart, clear mind, and an open spirit. Let these Buddhist teachings serve as a source of inspiration and motivation to guide you towards a life of tranquility and happiness. No matter where you are on your journey, remember that peace is always available within you, waiting to be discovered. May you always find peace in every step you take along the path of life. Wishing you a life filled with love, peace, and happiness.